Hey, how you doing? Adam here. Date is March 8th, 2019. Sitting in my very cold garage, wearing a short sleeve shirt. I gotta turn it up just slightly. Yeah, I want to get back into doing journals again. And next week, the temperatures apparently are going to be tolerable, so I might get down here and do some recording, hopefully. Though I don't know exactly what I'm going to be recording. Because my recording process with Cartoon/Nightmare, the way I recorded it was just very I felt like it was a little too formulaic. My process, my method of recording was just to record the drums first, just to get the structure of the song there, and then record the instruments. So it's just I'm playing a drum to a metronome in all of those tracks, and then I recorded the instruments over them. But I think that's a mistake, actually. I think the better way to do it would be to, well, maybe the thing is I want to record each track sort of in its own individual little way, it's just I want to feel my way through. I don't want to have a method for each song. I want to each song I want to record in its own way. I don't know how I can state that anymore, obviously. Looking for a different way to say it. But, yeah, I did have some journal topics that I wanted to bring up. I've got them written down here. Yeah, I don't know why I thought this during my Uber Eats drive. The thought occurred to me, and just for some reason it occurred to me that it was wait, for some reason I feel like I should talk about this on the journal. I think it was on Westchester Pike going towards 69th Street, in that little spot right where State Road and Westchester Pike, where you can sort of see the city in the background in the distance. And I just, for some reason, I thought to myself, streets, because I was looking at the map on the app, the Uber app, you could see the map where you are and stuff, and where the streets are. And I was thinking to myself, there's no thrill about getting to the actual street. So before, there was some kind of thrill about seeing something that was in a movie or something iconic, in real life. There's some mystique to it. You get there and it's oh wow, this is the actual thing right here. But I was just and streets kind of have that sort of value. They used to anyway, for me anyway. I would look at a street on Google Maps of a place that I was about to go to, and I would get there and it's wow, I'm at the actual place that I was just looking at on Google Maps. But I feel I've gotten to the point now where that that has no effect on me anymore. It's just, there's no big, if I went to the fucking Quick Stop in New Jersey, where they actually filmed Jay and Silent Bob, or the Clerks or whatever, because I'm a fan of that. But if I actually went there and just looked at the buildings, I don't think I would be starstruck in the same way that I would have been 10 years ago. It just doesn't matter. It's not a big deal anymore. And I was thinking to myself, and I don't know why I thought this was a relevant thing, but I was just thinking the reason I'm not excited by the buildings or excited by the streets that I was getting to, the Google Maps streets, is because the streets themselves, even the streets in real life, are just a representation of the streets. It's not the actual thing. It's just another representation of them. In the same way that you could look at a map and see a map of the streets in real life themselves are just a representation in the same way that a map is. And, that's, for some reason I felt I should bring that up. Even though, I don't even know if that's true or not. I don't know what that thought meant, but it just, I felt compelled to say it, And yeah, there was another thought here. I was saying, sometimes I feel, I'll read exactly what I wrote. Sometimes I feel I slip into someone else's narrative accidentally, they guided me. Yeah, sometimes I'm talking to somebody, and just you can tell they sort of have or maybe you can't tell in the moment, but afterwards you kind of reflect on it. They just sort of have a narrative about everybody. Maybe everybody's stupid, and they just think that all the time. And sometimes you like, so I feel like sometimes when I'm talking to somebody that maybe feels that way, like, oh, everybody's stupid. Like if I'm talking to them, like I'll accidentally sort of like slip into their narrative, you know? Like, you know, it's almost like I'm, like, it's just like a magnetic force drawing me into sounding like a fucking bonehead, you know, when I'm talking to them. And it's almost like it's something about their body language, or like just the way that they're moving. They're sort of like twisting me into a position where I do fall into that, you know? And, you know, I mean, I guess I got to take responsibility for the things that I say if they're dumb, but sometimes it feels like the situation is set up for me to lose no matter what I say. Like, I don't feel like I could have a conversation with somebody like, I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe like Ben Shapiro. Just like no matter, even if I had a fucking great argument against the guy, like he would somehow manipulate me into sounding like a fucking bonehead, because that's the narrative in his head. Like it's not so much that he's a good debater, it's that he is brilliant at like maneuvering his way into sounding like, you know, you're a dumbass and I'm, you know, something like that. Like it doesn't matter so much if he has a good point or not. It's, you know, it's the way he's saying things. And sometimes it's like, you know, I have no control over sounding like a dumbass with some people. Like it's just they've become so good at like mind gaming you, or I don't know. I'm not expressing myself well enough here, but I hope the gist of what I'm saying. It's like some vibe they're putting out is like maneuvering you into sounding like you're a dumbass. Like it feels like you're making mistakes, but ultimately it's them that's making you make mistakes. Like their presence, like, you know, when Gordon Ramsay is like berating people, and he makes everybody uptight, and it's like it makes them more fucking prone to making mistakes. It's something like that. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I thought I heard somebody upstairs walking around. Maybe possibly could have heard me. I don't like being heard. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about there. People falling into people's narratives about like the world and sounding stupid because I'm saying stupid things. That's why. Just making excuses for the stupid things I say. Yeah, so I don't know what else. Had a therapy session this week. Brought up some things that I don't know. They just the things that I didn't expect to make me as emotional as they did. That just kind of like the emotions of it lasted the entire day. And I feel like I was hitting on something important there, so I probably should bring that up again. I don't know what to say. Got 2 minutes to fill here. I was looking at a picture of James Bond with Natalia and Xenia. Yeah, I don't know. There was something about GoldenEye that just has like it's just part of my personality. Part of the vibe of my personality is GoldenEye. And you know, it's like I can't even help it. I just put out GoldenEye vibes. And you know, I kind of feel like everybody does that, like things that they connected with, things that affected them, things that had an impact on them, you know. At any point, I don't even think it has so much to do with age. I think it's just at any point in your life you can absorb things and just like incorporate it into your vibe. Like, I don't know, I've gotten into bands like in my late 20s that just have incorporated themselves into me. So, because they always say like, you know, oh, once you get past fucking 20 or whatever age, you know, you won't get, music won't be as good, you know, you won't be able to get into bands, or, you know, the music will never be as good as the music of your youth. And I just think that's bullshit. I think first of all, there's inherently a social aspect to music. And just, people become less social as they age. So I feel like if people were like in a situation more like high school, where there was like, groups of people that hung out together, people continue to do that into adulthood. I think, music tastes would evolve in the same way that they did back then. Because, they always say, like, your hormones decrease as you get older, but those charts are always like fucking, what do they decrease, like 10% by the time you're 40? So it's not that much. You still got fucking 90%. You're still 90% basically of what you were when you were like 10 years ago. So that could be a dramatic difference, but that just doesn't seem like it is to me. I feel like I have higher hormones anyway now that I'm like, not masturbating. Like that definitely has a hormonal effect on like just my skin and like my natural scent, I guess. So, something's going on with that. I've gone on now for like 11 minutes, so I'm done. Goodbye.